Unit 10 Lifelong Learning IELTS Speaking Part 1 Question 1. Do you think education should continue throughout life? Answer. Yes, I believe education doesn't stop when you reach adulthood, it should continue throughout life. Learning new things helps us maximize our potential and stay competitive in the job market. For example, I recently took an online course to improve my leadership qualities, which helped me perform better in group projects. If we stop learning, we might fall behind in our careers. Question 2. What are the benefits of lifelong learning? Answer. Lifelong learning has many benefits. It helps people stick to some principles, stay mentally active, and even improve life expectancy. For example, learning a new skill can relieve stress and keep the brain engaged. Also, many companies require employees to meet certain standards, so continuous learning can open up new career opportunities. IELTS Speaking Part 2. Describe a skill you have learned that you think is important. You should say what the skill is, how you learned it, why you think it is important, and explain how you use this skill in your life. One important skill I have learned is public speaking. I used to struggle with speaking in front of people, and it made me feel very anxious. However, I realized that if I wanted to be successful in my career and social life, I had to overcome shyness and learn how to express my thoughts clearly. I first started learning this skill in school when I had to give a presentation in front of my classmates. I was so nervous that I could barely get my words out, and I even forgot part of what I wanted to say. After that experience, I knew I had to improve, so I started practicing more. I watched videos of professional speakers to pick up on their techniques, and I also joined a debating club where I could practice regularly. Later, I took an online course on public speaking, which helped me understand how to structure my speech and use a broad variety of techniques to engage the audience. I believe public speaking is important because it helps people boost their self-esteem, communicate effectively, and make a strong impression. Whether in a classroom, a workplace, or even in a social setting, knowing how to speak clearly and confidently can make a huge difference. Many successful leaders and professionals are great public speakers, and I think that's because this skill allows them to exercise an enormous influence on others. Now, I use this skill quite often. Whenever I have to give a presentation or speak in a group discussion, I stick to some principles I've learned, such as maintaining eye contact, using pauses effectively, and speaking with confidence. Ultimately, I think public speaking is a valuable skill that everyone should develop, and I'm glad I took the time to improve it. I still get nervous sometimes, but I now know how to handle it, and I feel much more comfortable speaking in front of others. IELTS Speaking Part 3 Question 1. Should schools focus more on practical skills? Answer. Yes, I think schools should adopt a model that includes more practical skills. Many students graduate without knowing how to manage finances, write a professional email, or even meet certain standards in communication. While academic knowledge is important, practical skills prepare students for real-life situations. Schools could also bring into existence new programs that focus on teamwork and problem-solving. Question 2. How can governments encourage lifelong learning? Answer. Governments can set up a state board of education that promotes lifelong learning and offers free courses. They can also introduce education reforms that make online learning more accessible. In some countries, companies receive financial support if they provide training programs for employees. By doing this, governments can exercise an enormous influence on people's willingness to keep learning throughout life.
Part 1 Listening. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for attending this seminar on health, learning, and personal development. Let's begin with health. As young people reach adulthood, it's important to understand basic health practices. Eating an adequate diet with a balanced intake of vitamins and minerals helps you grow properly and fight infection. You should also try to boost the immune system by getting enough sleep, drinking water, and avoiding poor hygiene. For example, using mild soap, not squeezing pimples, and maintaining personal hygiene help prevent swelling, redness, and infection. In some cases, a doctor may give somebody an injection to get vaccinated against diseases. While some people are immune to fatal diseases, others are susceptible to or even vulnerable to viruses like flu or COVID-19. Beyond physical health, mental well-being is important. Students often deal with the risk of obesity and the risk of malnutrition, depending on diet and lifestyle. Meditation and breathing techniques are good ways to relieve stress and practice meditation. These simple habits can improve your mood and reduce anxiety. Over time, they also build high self-esteem, which leads to more confidence in life. Now, let's move on to learning. Today's education system offers a broad variety of methods, but one key issue is how to increase learning retention. One method is using visuals and graphical adaptations, which can help students remember information better. Activities that associate something with something, such as linking a smell with a color, are also useful. Teachers should avoid meaningless tasks or trivial problems, as these do not engage students. Instead, students should be involved in planning their own study time and stick to some principles that help them learn efficiently. Finally, let's not forget the social aspects. In state schools, students often begin to develop leadership qualities through group work or sports. These qualities are essential if you want to move into senior management in the future. Some people have pride in achievement, and this helps them maximize their potential. Also, school can help shy students overcome shyness, especially in social settings where they feel supported. So whether you're focused on academics, personal health, or your future career, remember that all areas are connected. Take care of your body, your mind, and your learning habits, and you'll be on the right path. Part 2: Reading, Health, Education, and Social Change. Health professionals believe that maintaining a balanced intake of vitamins and minerals, following an adequate diet, and practicing personal hygiene are key to long-term longevity and life expectancy. In many state schools, students are taught to wash their hands regularly with mild soap, eat vegetables with every meal, and take prescription medicine only when recommended by a doctor. Medical staff at school also teach students not to squeeze pimples, since this can cause swelling, redness, and infection. To prevent serious illness, health campaigns promote the idea that teenagers should get vaccinated against viruses like measles and influenza. While some students become immune to fatal diseases, others remain susceptible to infections or are vulnerable to seasonal flu outbreaks. However, some children develop resistance to diseases over time. Another major concern is the risk of obesity, which is increasing in children in urban areas. At the same time, children in remote mountain villages still face the risk of malnutrition. Both problems are connected to food access and education. School nurses advise students to eat breakfast and avoid snacks during class to improve food digestion and focus. They may also encourage students to relieve stress through stretching, walking, or learning to practice meditation. These activities support mental health, increase learning retention, and raise high self-esteem. In health education lessons, teachers often use graphical adaptations to help children associate apples with better memory or green vegetables with strong muscles. In recent years, many governments have introduced education reforms to improve national systems. Ministries of education often adopt a model of learning that aims to standardize final exams and popularize technology use in classrooms. These policies are usually enforced by national agencies. For example, the Ministry of Education in Thailand set up a state board of education to oversee all entry requirements and textbook approvals. In the United States, each state may serve in legislature to determine school policies. While some parents worry about a loss of school freedom, these reforms aim to guarantee the quality of education and ensure that schools meet certain standards. In the past, mandatory schooling ended when teenagers reached adulthood, but now most countries require students to complete secondary school. Schools today also focus on personality and social growth. Teachers work to develop leadership qualities in students, especially in school clubs and group projects. Those who succeed are more likely to become future senior management employees in large companies. One example is Amanda Lee, a graduate of Hanoi State High School, who said she had to overcome shyness before becoming the team leader of the school newspaper. Her teachers helped her grow confident and taught her to take pride in her achievement. Many schools follow a philosophy of education that values courage, honesty, and growth for one's own sake, not only for exams.